So first things first, when you guys open up the Google Classroom, you guys are going to see, you're going to see in Google Classroom this basically called New Fusion Features. Inside of New Fusion Features, you're going to see save each file as the title below. So I'm going to say rubber handle sleeve, hole practice, circular pattern, tire, rectangular pattern, and then paperclip. What that is basically this document, and rather than open it there, I'm going to open it here just so you can see it a little clearer. But what this does is this document walks you through how to draw each one of those things, and it also gives you hints on when you should be saving them, when you should be doing whatever you're going to do within the assignment. So hopefully this walkthrough in this video will help you guys do this. Well, rather than you just read this and say, hey, good luck, I'm going to actually show you what this stuff is going to do. So the first one, this rubber handle sleeve. If you go into Fusion, I'm going to show you in Fusion how this stuff should look, okay? I know it's a little glitchy, but we'll get through that. So I'm going to start a new sketch, and this first command is going to be identified as what we call a revolve. Basically what you do is, by looking at the document again, I just want to reference back to it, you are going to draw on it. It shows you what the dimensions are here, here, and all that. And then it wants you to draw just this piece right here. And the reason that is because you are going to draw just the section portion of that device, so that when you revolve it around an axis, it's called, you will be able to just see that whole image by just drawing a piece of it. So it'll help tremendously. So instead of me literally going over every single dimension, I'm not going to do that just for the sake of time. I'm going to show you what this thing should look like. And this is what they want you to draw, and again, using the dimensions, using all that kind of stuff are all right here. You dimension it, whatever it needs to be. But once you have this piece drawn, you can then, if you look back at the document, it tells you this distance here. And a lot of people are asking questions about that. If you look at this diameter here, half of that is your radius, which is that little gap, which is this little gap right here, right? A lot of people are asking, well, what's this distance here? You're not going to know that distance, but you do know the overall height from the center to the bottom, because you know here it says 1.375 outside diameter, which is basically the outside overall height of this whole entire thing, right? So half of that from the center to the bottom, in this case, this line from here to here, not from the top here, will give you that distance to go across, go up, connect the dots like we did before. You're not going to have to know all these dimensions. I digress. If I draw this thing, and then I draw that line like I showed you from there to there, whatever that distance is going to be. And then I draw another line that's just basically perpendicular across, doesn't have a distance at all. This line is going to be used for the command itself. I can stop that sketch, and basically you just have a flat device. If you go up here, you're going to see revolve. And revolve will allow you to take that plane, or profile they call it, and wrap it around an axis. When you do that, it basically wraps that device around 360 degrees and creates, in this case, a new component. Okay, so it creates that whole entire component. You say, well, where's the fillets and all that stuff? I didn't draw them, but if I go back into that sketch alone, I can edit this sketch using, in the sketch command, the fillet. People are doing this a lot. They're going into sketch and they're saying, well, why isn't when I'm in my sketch, I go into solids and I'm going to my fillet here, and fillet's not working. Where's fillet? Bottom? No. Where's fillet? Here it is. So if you go to this fillet, you see how it looks like a solid model. That's not the one you want. You want the one that is basically going to be inside of that sketch command. So when you sit the sketch, you see how the toolbar changes. This is going to be right here. This fillet here is going to be totally different. Okay? Click that fillet, and then you're going to be able to change whatever that fillet device is. Now, why do you care about that? Because if you fillet this and press stop sketch, it automatically adjusts whatever that device is going to look like. It created that whole entire thing, revolving that piece around. And if I go back now, again, it doesn't look exactly like it, but it's very close to what you want. Make sense? That's the first one. That's the rubber handle sleeve. The next one, and it walks you through how to do all that. The next one they want you to draw, and again, it gives you all the dimensions here. It tells you the circle, tells you all that. It says it's 1.5 thick right here. It says that the overall circle is 4 inches in diameter. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this one. And this one has to deal with holes. So if I go to a new one here, go to new sketch, new piece, I draw a circle that is 4 inches, and I'll do a little dimensioning here because I need it. Press enter twice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line from the center up. And I don't know what the distance is, but I'm going to guesstimate. And I'm going to teach you a new one called point. If you go to create and go to point, this will allow you to create and keep something that will allow you to adjust later. So what I mean by that is after I press OK, I can delete this line, and the end, that little point is still there, where I can make a circle, I can make a hole, I can make whatever I needed to around using that geometry. So what the new thing is let's say I want to repeat that hole around this whole entire thing. How many times? Well, it says, including the hole that it's already picked, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to take that and wrap it around 5 times. Go to create, go to circular pattern, select, as you see, the object, and then the center point that you want to revolve it around. And I just said 5 times, so I press 5, and then those points just wrapped around that device 5 different times. That'll help me when I try and do, and I press stop sketch, that'll help me when I try and make these holes individually. So I press extrude, and it said, if you go back here, to make it 1.5, so I'm going to make this distance 1.5, I press OK. And then I can go back and rotate this around and make that sketch visible so those points are there. And now I'm going to see that these points mean nothing to me yet. So I'm going to go in and make, and if you look at this, it walks you through all these. These dimensions are going to be foreign to you. They talk about how to make these different things and how to make what these different holes are. The reality of the situation is I need to go over this real quick. So the first thing I need to talk about is the through. So what 0.25 diameter means is just the diameter of this hole. So this is the easy one. And it says through, meaning through the whole entire piece. So if I make and go up here to the hole command, I'll press hole, I press the center piece of that hole, and you're going to see some settings right here. You're going to see countersink, counterbore, or just simple. In this case, we just want the simple. We want the simple, and we want this thing to go through the whole entire piece. So I'm going to drop this down and press all, because I want it to go through the whole piece. Excuse me. And then if I look at it, it's going to cut through it, so I'm good. If it didn't, if it was going the other direction, you can flip the direction by just pressing this button here. Okay? So I press OK after I have determined what that diameter is. And we said, by looking at the document, it was 0.25. Press enter, I have my first hole. Now you guys have been thinking, well, what's the difference between just making a circle and extruding it? Nothing in that one. These ones, the other ones though, are a little different. So if I go back to that PDF, you'll see here, 0.375 diameter through, meaning just a hole through, right? But then you go underneath that, you're going to see this symbol. This symbol means counter bore, which basically means the head of the bolt is going to fit inside of the part. And that diameter hole, you see the second hole, is going to be 0.75 at 0.25 deep. So if I go back to here, I'm going to say now I want this one. I want it to be a counter bore, which is this one. I want the overall distance to be 0.375, and I want the overall distance of this to be 0.75, it's already set, and I want the depth to be 0.25. And you can see the little arrows, they tell you what that distance is. Okay? The whole overall thing, it can go through the whole 1.5 and we're good to go. Can you guys shut that door for me, please? You're going to have to push it open. There you go. Press OK, and now you're going to see inside of there that it kind of drilled in a first hole and then a second hole. What that does is creates so that the bolt, when it sits in there, it'll sit flush with the part. It'll be pretty. The third one is a countersink. So I go to hole, press the third one, and now I'm going to use countersink. And this is just a different type of bolt itself. Same concept. Again, down here though, you'll see 0.375 through the whole part, countersink, not counter bore, diameter 75, and at an angle of 82. Well, what the heck does that mean? If you go over here, you're going to see the angle is 82 degrees, 0.75, I already set it up, and then 0.375. I press OK. What that angle is basically just making this, again, for a different type of bolt. It goes through the part, pretty self-explanatory. I go back, let me rotate it again, and there's two more. If I go through this, you're going to see 1/4 inch 20 UNC. This one just means that there's threads. This is the class 1B, and that it's only going to go, the threads are only going to go 0.7 deep. So I go back here, same exact thing, I press hole, I press threads, or tapped it's called, and then I'm going to leave it just through all here, simple, threaded, and then drill point, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to pick my point, and then I'm going to say, and it brings up a whole bunch of options down here. You leave it on ANSI, which is inches basically, it's the US. You leave this to quarter, or drop this down to 1/4 inch, because that's what it's said to do. If you look back at here, it says 1/4 inch. So if I look at 1/4 inch, 1/4 20 UNC, and 1B. Don't worry about what these numbers mean, we'll talk about that later. I press OK, and if you look close enough, you'll see that the threads for a bolt are now in there. Okay? Next, and the last one is just another 2.5, just another bolt, another piece, no big deal, nothing new. It's just another hole, easy peasy. Okay, that is your circular pattern. That's your bolts. Beyond that, you're going to see another circular pattern or another revolve here. I'm not going to go over that because it's pretty easy. You draw this circle. You're going to use the circular pattern again with a 0.5 circle here. You're going to make a whole bunch of holes. This is your finished part right here that you're going to make. And then that one is called, and it says right there, is called the circular pattern. The next one you're going to make is a tire. The tire from the automobile blocks gives you the dimensions, gives you all the parts, and then basically you use the circular command again to make all of the little pieces inside, which is really cool. And the last couple ones, rectangular pattern is the second to last. It just makes these a rectangle. You tell it how far to go X, how far to go Y. Pretty straightforward there. The last cool one is the clothespin. So if I go to a new one, this is the one that usually people kind of mess up on. If I first just draw a little circle, the diameter of the actual clothespin itself, I press stop sketch, and I press new sketch, and now I want to be perpendicular to that, I want to be perpendicular to that piece. I'm going to delete that sketch. New sketch. I want to make it so that I'm drawing so that that piece is flat. You see how the circle is flat now? So then I'm going to make, from that point, the paperclip shape and the path that I want it to follow. So I press OK, I go to like a 3-point arc, which basically you start, stop, bend, press a line, keep going, don't go all the way there, maybe to here, press OK, 3-point arc, here, not all the way over. There's no real science, I just want you guys to have fun with this. Press a line, go up, and for the sake of time, that's good enough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that sketch, and you're going to see a circle that basically is going to follow that piece, and if it's too big, you can literally just drag it, move it in. And you're going to do create and what's called sweep. And sweep just takes the profile and a path and basically follows that path. It's too big. Sweep that path, power file, this path. Where's it at? What's going on? Single path, come on. It's okay, it wasn't blue last hour. Okay, let's do the path first, then the profile. Don't know why, but it worked. So I did the opposite way, and all it does is it takes that circle and follows it along this whole entire path that you created into what we see as a paper clip. And again, remember, make sure you make a new component instead of a new body. Put it up in the top corner, and take a screenshot, and you're done with that piece. Are there any questions?